Morgue questions are surfacing while Mitch McConnell ghosts Kentucky. If he dies by midnight, state law triggers a special election. Yet on that exact deadline, the Senate swamp still refuses to produce a living, functioning senator. Stephanie Penn smiles for the camera. Representative Capito hides behind an unnamed visitor, and the ghost office expects you to swallow the insult quietly. And the story hits one nerve: representation. Mitch McConnell vanished from the Senate after June 14th, and Kentuckians missed more than 46 roll call votes while McConnell's machine kept the office running through whispers, staged optics, and paid handlers. Now, if you didn't know this, Stephanie Penn pockets $214,000 a year and still wouldn't answer whether staff should keep cashing taxpayer checks while Kentucky loses its voice. And that is not self-government. That is unelected rule by cartel, timed around an August 3rd midnight deadline. The rhino class can't afford to lose. So new pressure is building, though, in the Medicare market as plan costs shift again, and consumer advocates warn millions of seniors overpaying still do not know it. Big insurance profits from confusion through mailers, robocalls, fine print that leave people locked into ill-fitting plans. Chapter calls itself a newsroom for your Medicare. Independent Medicare advisors, the only Medicare advisors who compare every plan nationwide. They review doctors and prescriptions, complete a whole file review, and report back the truth on coverage and cost, not insurer talking points or ghost office evasions. If you already have the right fit, Chapter provides best plan verification. If not, they help you switch. It takes one call under 20 minutes and costs you nothing. For information on Chapter and Medicare plan help, call 910-728-4109. In a segment about hidden facts that independent review matters. Now, there's one detail the cartel can't spin away. Elaine Chao posed with a supposedly spry McConnell on July 12th, then spent weeks in China meeting a CCP vice president, while Kentucky got blackout silence, and that's where the smell turns rancid. So what do we have here? This week, this is the truth. This week we'll be told that Mitch McConnell, Mike Engelman writes this is great. We'll be told that Mitch McConnell, who hasn't been seen or heard from in 50 days, has suddenly passed now that Kentucky's special election deadline has passed. So that captures the question a lot of Kentuckians are asking. Where is Mitch McConnell? Now watch what happens when Senator Shelley Capito is pressed to name who supposedly visited him in the hospital and declared him clear-minded.
Senator, you were saying that you know someone who visited McConnell in the hospital. Can you reveal who visited him and what they thought about his condition? Hey, Senator. I just was going to ask you who the person you were saying visited McConnell in the hospital and said he was clear-minded. Would you be able to reveal who it was? All right, thank you, Senator. Take care.
Obviously, the public information that I have is that Senator McConnell is recovering and is healing and is in a rehabilitation hospital. That's what's been reported. I talked with somebody yesterday who visited him and said that he's clear-minded and he just needs to get stronger.
Do you plan to visit him?
You know, I might wait until he asks, for visitors. I think, anybody who's been in the hospital or in a rehab facility being visited, I think is a pretty sensitive topic. So what do you think?
So she says an unnamed visitor found McConnell clear-minded, but she won't give the public a name or anything concrete. Next, Desiree Townsend lays out the timeline from outside the hospital and asks why this rehab story keeps dragging on.
Desiree Townsend, here again, outside of George Washington University Hospital for the continued medical miracle that is Senator Mitch McConnell. It is now day 51 of his hospitalization. So you all have to keep in mind that back on July 12th, they released a photo. His office released a photo of a really spry looking Mitch McConnell sitting in a rehabilitation unit. It's now going into 4 weeks. Why in the world is he still in rehabilitation for 4 weeks? And a lot of those of you in my previous video in the comments are also saying this is not aligning with any sort of insurance policy one could have, presumably Medicare with some sort of supplemental, that would be paying for 4 weeks of him to sit up in a chair looking refreshed and spry and happy, unless those photos don't accurately depict his current state. So I'll keep coming here. I'm going to be here again tomorrow. We'll see if we hear anything on this, the alleged August 3rd date that's sort of floating around social media. I don't believe, again, that this date is the end-all, be-all for a special election. Again, the two statutes, KRS 118.375 and House Bill 622 in Kentucky, can easily be reconciled by a judge in a Kentucky court. So that is a nothing burger to me. On a separate and more personal note, as many of you have heard, I lost my sister. I believe it was July 20th. We're not exactly sure. We do know she mailed out a letter on July 20th. We think that's when she took her life. But what I'd like to ask all of you, you may have seen all these influencers online, micro-influencers, basically bullying me and bullying me for my sister's death as well.
It's an unfortunate story to hear that. When people make those kinds of decisions. But you've got the day count, the hospital backdrop, and more holes than answers in the official story. Now Townsend takes those same questions straight to McConnell's communications director and asks whether staffers should be collecting checks while Kentucky goes unrepresented.
What's going on with Senator McConnell? We haven't had any updates. Is he doing better? Do you by happen to know if he, or can you tell us, did he sign that July 28th letter, or was that an auto pen from your office? I know people in Kentucky are getting frustrated that they have missed over 46 roll call votes, so anything you can provide us on his current status, I think, would be greatly appreciated. Do you think it's fair that your office and the other staffers are still getting paid while Kentuckians go without representation? No comment to any of this? All right, thank you.
It's just dead silent. Dead silence. Unbelievable. So she had every chance to clear it up. All viewers got was a smile. Next, Kentucky Voice puts a salary number on that silence and shows exactly how much McConnell's communication chief is making. Mitch McConnell's communication director, Stephanie Penn, that woman you just saw, $214,000 a year. Graduated from University of Louisville, 2009, with a BS in marketing. Yeah, she definitely knows how to BS. She has worked for McConnell since 2009. All staff getting paid while Kentuckians are without a full Senate representation for 50 days. And yes, she makes more money than Mitch McConnell. So while Kentucky misses votes and communication shop is still getting paid, the focus shifts to who may be really running the office as a new clip zeroes in on the Chief of Staff, Terry Carmack, and Tim Burchett's warning about staffers who are blocking the Save America Act.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. I saw where Mitch McConnell was blocking the SAVE Act this morning. I think it's partially just out of meanness. He doesn't like Trump, and Trump got him in office. Sadly enough, he helped him in that last race extensively. And that's one thing I value in this game is loyalty, and apparently he doesn't. But he's blocking the SAVE Act. And, or is he? Is it him or a staff member? Because, as you know, he's a lot like Joe Biden was in his last few days in office, or last years in office, last 4 years really. His cognizant level is diminishing daily. You know, I've always remembered we had a chairman of a committee, and I asked in committee. In our conference meeting, I asked if how much money was in this bill, and she responded, "I don't know. Next question." And I said, "No. How much money is in this dadgum bill?" And his immediately staffers were like, "You can't be asking that. You can't be asking that." Well, dadgummit, This thing ain't supposed to be some retirement village. It's supposed to be the United States Congress and the Senate. But here's what it's turned into, and it is wrong. You've got staffers that are running this thing. The lady that I asked those questions of, it turns out for over 6 weeks, she never showed up and nobody knew where she was. But her staff kept running the office, and she was in a retirement village for people that were in cognizant decline, to put it lightly. And that's what's going on in Washington. You've got these staffers, again, that are too close to the lobbyists, too close to whatever, and they're running the show. And it needs to stop. I've called it out. I've called it out to our leadership, and they do nothing about it. But this is where we're at. The SAVE Act is stopped because Mitch McConnell. And he's got a staffer that's running his show, not him. So anyway, it's a pitiful state. You need to get a hold of our leadership and let them know this cannot continue. Cannot continue. Thank y'all for sending me here.
I love that guy. That guy has got class. He's honest. He's real. He has revealed exactly what the real problem in Washington is. So staffers are steering the office while McConnell stays out of sight. It's not representation. That is swamp management next. Kylie Kremer ties it to the August 3rd deadline and says the rhinos had every reason to keep this ghost office running. If Mitch McConnell dies before August 3rd, Kentucky law would trigger a special election for his Senate seat. The rhinos in power can't afford for that to happen, which is why this whole situation feels like Weekend at Bernie's. Weeks have gone by with virtually no meaningful update on the condition of a sitting U.S. senator. The lack of transparency has been outrageous and has left people wondering whether he's been kept alive on life support or whether the full truth simply isn't being told. Has he already passed? Then there's Elaine Chao, McConnell's wife, traveling to China to meet with a CCP leader just days after McConnell was hospitalized. Maybe there's an explanation, but the timing is undeniably odd. Would you leave your husband to travel to China if he is so ill in the hospital for over 20 days? I sure wouldn't. Something about this entire situation doesn't add up. The American people deserve answers. And that's exactly what we deserve. So we covered McConnell's ghost office on July 24th, and this batch blows it wide open. The machine still has not produced a clean public video, a direct statement, or a straight medical accounting. Instead, Kentuckians got a July 12th rehab photo, an anonymous reassurance from Shelley Capito, and Stephanie Penn grinning while the office keeps drawing salaries, and Elaine Chao's China trip right in the middle of the blackout. And the arrogance just gets grotesque. If Mitch McConnell's alive and functioning, put him on camera today. If he's incapacitated, say it today. And if Terry Carmack, Stephanie Penn, or any other unelected operative exercise Senate authority in his name, the Senate needs a full public reckoning. Put that demand in the comments, blast this segment out, and force this cartel to answer before the bedline buries the trail. Thank you for watching that report. If you want our evening White House dispatch, type White House into your phone and text it to 844-840-4963. And if you want to join the Signal Corps, that is our new active dispatch organization for just an elite class of viewers, and you're tired of just sitting around doing nothing, this is the group for you. So you can just simply text Signal to that same number on the screen and take action today.